One, two, three, and four. Hey, you guys, it's Roz. Today's episode is Rambling Roz. I don't know which episode number this is because I've only done maybe two Rambling Roz. And Rambling Roz is when I get on here, and if I have just some random thought or some for whatever reason, there's something that I want to share, then I do a video like this called Rambling Roz. So, but I don't do that many of them because I also do the Roz Loves Bling show, and I tell all my business on there. But today, this is not the Roz Loves Bling show. This is Rambling Roz, and this will be followed by a new blog that I would like to start called Roz's Favorite Things. You know how Oprah has her show where it's Oprah's favorite things? Well, I'd like to do something called Roz thing. It's almost easy for me to say Rosalind's favorite things. I can't talk, y'all. So I wanted to get on here today because as you can see in the title, I had a mini stroke, y'all, on Christmas Day. So y'all pray for me. I thank God that God had my back and my family had my back. And right now I am feeling just great. I'm feeling just fine. Other than just being more tired than I normally am, more easily agitated and less patient than I normally am, and my husband also have confirmed that yes, he has observed that also that I've been a little bit more agitated over just little things like if I drop my keys on the floor and I have to bend down to pick them up. Or if I can't find something, I put something somewhere 2 seconds ago and then I go to look for it and I can't find it. Most times it's me forgetting where I put things. But, the first thing I want to do is go around the house, asking my daughter or my husband, did you see my such and such? Somebody moved my such and such because I had it right here. That just drives me up the wall. I feel violated or something. I don't know. It's just this weird pet peeve of mine of me knowing or thinking I know where I put something. And I feel like, okay, I have it in its own place and it's secure. Because my husband is better at organizing than I am, but I do have a special place for my things that where I have them to go. So when I go back there for them, they're supposed to be there. Well, sometimes that doesn't happen, and it drives me crazy. I know I'm getting a little bit off the whole mini stroke thing, but I just want to ramble on about that. Hey, it drives me crazy, especially when all the girls were living at home. I have 5 daughters, you guys. So there were a house of 7 with me, including the dog and my husband, and things were being moved around all the time. I mean, I could put, let's say I could put my mascara. Let's say I got some mascara. I went to the store. How you shop around, you look around for the best price, best product, and you set your eyes on what you're gonna buy, and you commit to it, and get in line and pay for it, and you're looking forward to being able to use it. And I take it home and I get to use it. It's like, oh wow, this is great. I'm so glad that I bought this. I'm just using mascara as an example. Okay, so I go and I have my own I have this little makeup tray where I put all my makeup, And my little it has little pockets where you can put your makeup brushes and stuff in. So I have this little tray. So I'm not being unorganized with that. I have a place for my makeup, for example. Okay, so then, and I know where I left it. And then I go back there maybe the next day or a day later, and I'm like, oh, I think I'm going to do my makeup today. I go in my little tray expecting my mascara that I remember that I bought to be there. And I go into like a panic because it's, oh my God, I don't see it. Right. And I'm moving things around. I'm taking everything out, putting them back in, taking them out again. And I'm trying to ponder to myself, like, did I put it back? Did I put it somewhere else? But then I'm like, I'm angry at this point. I'm angry at this point. And I feel like somebody took something from me, you know. So then I go dashing around the house. Who took my mascara? I know where I put it and somebody moved it. Yeah, I'm confessing Roz is not perfect. Sometimes we all get into our flesh, and that's why we need Jesus, okay? And that's why God is so merciful and forgiving towards us, because He knows that we are dust, you know. But anyway, but it's no excuse for committing sin. Um, Once you know better, you're supposed to do better. You don't practice sin. But some people have what they call their sinful nature, which reminds me, it kind of reminds me of like a bad habit that you have, and that is hard. Bad habits are hard to break. So some people have things that are in their sinful nature, because we're all unique people. We have our own different likes and dislikes and desires, and Satan knows them. He knows what you like and what you don't like. And you better believe he gonna make sure you're gonna get a lot of what you don't like, and he's going to entice you with what you do like. Okay, especially if it's going to steer you farther away from God. So anywho, um that's one pet peeve I have. If I put something that I bought somewhere, I expect it to be there the next time I want to use it. So, having a house full of girls, I would have to go through each person. It's like, has anybody seen my mascara? No, no. So I'll go through everybody in the house, and I'm like, okay, so then I don't believe them. I say, okay, so somebody's lying, you know. Somebody so you're telling, oh, darn earring just fell off. That's a pet peeve too. Anyway. Um I'll say somebody is lying. That's what I'll start feeling like. Is it so you guys are telling me that my mascara suddenly grew legs and walked off? Because that's what it would have had to literally do for it to be missing, because I know I will bet my life on it. I'll just be so sure that I know I put it back there, because I know that I want to use that again. Sometimes y'all, uh, I'm right. Somebody did borrow it without asking me, for one thing, and then not putting it back. Okay, sometimes that is the case. You live in a house full of females, and we're family. Sometimes you seem like you get a pass when it comes to borrowing each other's stuff. Like, you don't have to ask, that kind of thing. But I think out of courtesy, even if you live with someone, even if they are your family member, to not cause somebody some unnecessary stress, is always better to be considerate enough to ask somebody before you use their stuff. Okay. And then if you use it, if they're not available for you to ask them, and you do use it, you need to make sure you put it right back. Okay. So that's all. Dang, my hand. That's all I'm saying about that. Now, sometimes, y'all, sometimes I'll be looking, and I'll look somewhere else, or maybe I'm in such a frantic looking, somehow I overlooked it and it is there. Okay. Or I it's in my purse. So maybe that one time for whatever reason, I decided to be spontaneous and not put it back for whatever reason and take it and put it in my purse. So those are the kind of things that I get really, really. I mean, it's I can understand a person being upset about that, but I'm just saying that I have been more agitated than normal, you guys. So please pray for me. But anyway, let me get to this stroke thing. Like I told you about those those paparazzi earrings. Y'all, you gotta buy some backs, okay? Because you see how my earring just fell off? The backs don't they don't fit, They slide so on some of the earrings, not all of them, but most of them, y'all. The backs slide off, and you be sitting up walking around thinking you cute. Next thing you know, you look in the mirror and you only got one earring on. Or it's like hanging here in your hair. Like this, looking crazy. Okay, and why in the world will people see that and won't tell you nothing? I was like, come on, as bright as these darn earrings are, I know somebody's seen that thing hanging in my hair looking crazy. But anyway, same way some people be so mean and they won't even tell you if you got a booger in your nose. You'd be like, oh yeah, and you got a visitor sitting right here, and they all looking at you. Oh girl, how I look? Oh yeah, you look good, girl. I look good. Yeah, girl, you look good. You look fine. You said you sure? Yeah, yeah. Come on, let me take the picture. I was like, okay. You know who your friends are. Know who your friends are. That's all I have to say. Anyway, so I can't stay on the topic. All right, so I'm rewrapping myself around to what happened on Christmas. By the way, Merry Christmas. I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas. And I wish you a happy new year going into 2022. Um so it was a lot of things that happened on Christmas Day. I had a vision in my mind of how I wanted Christmas to be. I hosted Christmas at my house. Um, Thanksgiving was so much fun. Everybody was here and some extra friends, and we had this wonderful music playing and this delicious food, and everybody was just laughing and talking and having a good time, right? And so I expected Christmas to be the same way, especially because my brother, who I haven't seen in months, was going to be coming. Well, Christmas didn't go anyway. There was no music playing because we ended up not listening to any music. The food was good. Um, let's see. My brother at the last minute says he can't make it. So that's not just him, that's him, his wife, and both nephews. So we're down four people. That's four people. That's a lot of mouths and bodies. But I understand, I was surprised actually when they did say they were coming. I invited them, um, and I was going to leave it up to them. But they said that they would come, and then on Christmas morning, unfortunately, they had to cancel. It happens. It happens. So it's no big deal. I understood it. And we just took food and gifts to them. And still got a chance to see my brother. That's four people. But anyway, that's four people that are not coming now. And then one of my daughters tells me that she's not going to make it. It's like, why? No, what's going on? She said that she may have been exposed to COVID, and so she has to quarantine herself and wait. She has to wait for her test results. So that's another person. Like, oh dear. Y'all be careful out there. Family or no family, friends or no friends. You got to be careful out there when it comes to these flus and these COVIDs and all the other variants they want to say that's out there. Just be careful. Be mindful. Wash your hands. Wear your mask. And don't forget to pray. Okay, so Christmas is already kind of going downhill a little bit. Okay. So then so I was, but anyway, we still had my other daughters and my auntie come over and everything. So I was sitting here on the couch where I am right there on the couch. I'm scared to sit there, y'all. But that's my flesh talking, because the servant of the Lord does not fear anything but the Lord. Okay, so anyway, I was sitting there and my auntie was kind of saying, can you look up this song on YouTube, this song on YouTube? So she was requesting all these different um YouTube videos. So so at one point it started getting a little bit annoying. And then I got to where I was saying, well, dang, I want to look at some too. I started having in my mind some videos that I wanted to see. So so anyway, I was getting annoyed and stressed out. I could feel my patience kind of like, you know, hey, who's this? Hi. How you doing out there? Welcome to the Ramblin' Roz episode. I'm just talking about what happened to me on Christmas Day. And I'm just getting to that part. So thank you for joining me. So I was sitting down. First of all, I had just finished eating. And then I sat down and my auntie was talking about, oh, put this video on, put that video on. And I'm like, okay, okay, okay. And I'm putting them on. And the last video she wanted me to put on, she said, could you look for a Buddy Guy? And I said, okay. So I was looking for a Buddy Guy video. And then something happened to me. For whatever reason, it seemed like my brain got stuck right there. It's almost like it went pause. And it was, so my daughter said that I kept repeating myself over and over again. The last thing that I had said, I'm trying to find Buddy Guy. I think that's what I was saying. I'm trying to find Buddy Guy. I'm trying to find Buddy Guy. And I kept saying it. I'm trying to find. And then they noticed something was off. And then my auntie and they were saying that they were trying to call my name and speak to me, and they said I wouldn't respond. Then they said I started sweating profusely. I just started sweating. And then they said I started shaking. And of course, I'm sure that they realized, okay, something is wrong, really, really wrong. And then at one point, my daughter says that because I never close my eyes and go to sleep. I'm awake. Okay, my eyes are open. It's like I'm unconscious but awake. So my daughter says she went in front of my face and she waved her hand in front of my face, and she said I did not respond. My eyes didn't move. I stayed like, and then one of my daughters, how teenagers are, this new technology, she gets her phone and wants to start recording, which it's a good idea because I could show that to my doctor. So she started recording everything happening. Then they said that I stood up and went over to the table, and they were following me, saying, Mom, where are you going? And they said I grabbed the cookie and put it in my mouth took 2 bites and swallowed it. Then they said I went over to the kitchen and got a knife. And I'm like, oh my God. It's like my body was doing its own thing, but my brain was over here somewhere. That has never happened to me in my life. I have no idea. They said I went to the kitchen, I grabbed a knife. Then they said I started cutting a piece of sweet potato pie. And they said I was cutting so hard that I cut through the container. And then somehow I guess they took the pie from me and hid it from me. Because sometimes if I have too much sugar, I'll go into what I call this sugar buzz, where I start sweating and I get confused, little bit confused, and I start feeling a little panicky. And one thing that's weird is my lips were getting numb. And but I'm fully aware of what's going on around me. I just can't control it. Well, this was different. I was unaware, I was unresponsive. Okay. And so then they said I sat back down. They had me sit back down on the couch, and they said that they had to keep holding me up because I kept falling over like this, and they didn't want me to fall asleep. And I'm glad that they didn't, because I could have went into a coma or something. So then the only way I start kind of coming out of it is they give me some turkey, some protein to eat. So, I'm eating the turkey, and then I'm slowly starting to be aware of where I am and who's around me. I look up at the chair in front of me where my Auntie Pat was sitting, right at the time when I was trying to find those videos for her. I looked up at the chair and she wasn't sitting there anymore. And I'm like, where did Auntie Pat go? You know, and they said, Dad, they said Dad and April, they went ahead and took her home. I was like, they left? They said, yeah. And I'm like, and then my daughter was trying to tell me that something strange happened to you. And the things that they told me I did, I would not have believed them if they hadn't showed me the video. And I'm like, oh my God, get the heck out of me. And I'm like, I'm calling the advice nurse on the phone right now. So I called the advice nurse, and they told me that I was like that for about an hour, unresponsive. My body is doing and my mouth is doing this and that. But for some reason, my brain is not aware of it. It's strange. So they tell me to come to the ER immediately. They want to do a CAT scan to make sure I did not have a stroke. Now, the word stroke, I never thought about stroke. I'm like, stroke? And then I was kind of like, I don't feel like, I'm like arguing with the advice nurse. I'm telling her, I don't feel like going nowhere. I'm tired. I'll go to the doctor tomorrow. She said, you really need to come in right now. This is urgent, this and that, So everybody's like, you should go. I was like, all right. So I go to the ER, and the darn people getting on my nerves, they keep asking me my name every 5 minutes, but anyway, I understand what they were doing. So when I get in there, the lady says these numbers. She says, the lady who checks you in and does your vitals, she said 102467. And I'm like, what are those numbers? And I'm wondering why she's saying random numbers. And I was like, that's my birth date. Yes, y'all. Okay, I'm tripping. I'm like, and then she asked me, who is the president of the United States? And I'm like reaching somewhere for, and I'm thinking Obama, and then I'm like, oh, Joe Biden. Is almost like, like, a question and answer thing, and it's like, oh, I know the answer. It's like everybody knows who the president is, right? Joe Biden. So anyway, and I started feeling a little bit concerned myself. Then they took me to the room, and then doctors were telling me to lift my right arm up. So, I lift that up, and they said lift your right leg. Okay, that was fine. But when it got to this side, they said, okay, lift your left arm. And I'm like, I'm looking at the arm and I'm thinking, how come you ain't moving? And I'm like, why aren't you moving? So I'm like looking at it like, you know, go ahead and move, let the doctor know that, that I'm all right. And then I said, I didn't say anything. Then I try to lift my arm, and my arm feels like it's about 300 pounds. And I'm like, "Ugh." And there's nothing in my, there's nothing in my hand. I'm like, oh God. And then they, and I do that, and they say, well, lift your leg, your left leg. And I'm like, it's gonna be hard. And I'm lifting my left leg. I'm laughing about it now, y'all, but oh dear. And then after that, more doctors started coming in, asking me questions and stuff, and then so then they all leave, and then the little while later, so they come and draw blood. They start an IV, do vitals, put me on the blood pressure machine and everything, and then somebody comes in and pricks my finger to check my glucose levels, which I have never been diabetic in my life, so I don't know. Anyway, so then they leave, and every once in a while somebody will come in there and say, what's your name? And I was like, next time they ask me what my name is, I'm going to say Betty Shabazz and scare all of them. Betty Shabazz, she's the wife of Malcolm X. I don't know why that was her first name. I guess because it sounded funny. Shabazz. I'm not making fun of it, but it sounded funny, especially because that's not who I am. Anyway, um so let's see. So then they come back in and they want me to do it again. Okay, lift your right arm. Okay, all of that. Lift your left arm, and then by that time, I could lift it, and I could lift the left leg. So I guess I was still kind of coming out of the whatever episode was going on in my brain. So I was kind of aware at times, but then some things were still impaired. So they told me that I was dehydrated, which, I'm always dehydrated, y'all. I be thinking I'm drinking a lot of water and don't know that I'm not. So I need to really work on that. Drink your water, you guys. Don't let your bodies get dehydrated. Your body depends on water. Okay, it's mostly water. That's my little water plug, H2O. Yo, yo. I don't know what this is. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, then so they said I'm dehydrated. They did a CAT scan. They said the CAT scan looked normal, but that doesn't mean that I didn't have a stroke, because the MRI would be more accurate, and they may want to do that. And let's see. Oh, see, now I'm starting to forget. Uh, so then they had me. Okay, so they said I was dehydrated. So so when they put the fluids in, I was starting to really really feel a whole lot better. Also, my mouth is dry now. Excuse me. Hmm. And it's not water. See what kind of example I'm setting? I'm trying to drink some OJ though, because I don't want no COVID. Nothing. Anyway, so yeah, they told me they really believe that I had a mini stroke. So they sent me home. And then Kaiser called me today and they scheduled me to come and get this, that they want me to wear this heart monitor for 24 hours. I don't know what your heart have to do with, well, I don't know. Anyway, so I have on this heart monitor thing. Let's see, it has like, oh, it has the time that I picked this up. And then when it's 24 hours, I guess it'll beep or something. I don't know. And then they have, I'm not trying to expose myself, but they put these things on me that I'm gonna be wearing for 24 hours. So they want to check my, just, kind of track it the way my heart is beating or whatever. So, yep, that's that. I have some down here too. And they just said that I can't get this wet. So you can't take a shower for 24 hours, which is, that's a good thing I already took a shower then before. And tomorrow I'm scheduled, they want to do an ultrasound of my neck because they want to check, I think they said they wanted to check my carotid artery, or they want to check my arteries to make sure there's not a blockage in there somewhere. Because a lot of times with a stroke, it's like a blood clot that bursts in your brain, and it can damage brain cells. And so they definitely want to make sure that I don't have any type of blockage or blood clot anywhere. So they're going to do an ultrasound tomorrow. So I'll let you guys know how that goes and what happens with that. Lord willing, maybe tomorrow, or anyway, I will let you guys know what happens. So you guys, can you kind of tell I'm getting a little a little confused when I'm talking? Ra's got brain damage. Oh well. So sometimes you just gotta laugh at yourself. So yeah, I had a mini stroke, y'all. And I'm only 54 years old. Well, I guess age doesn't have anything to do with it. But I know stress can really affect you in that way. And I was under stress. I was under a lot of stress lately, and your diet, like eating an unhealthy diet. Now, one thing that happened though that day is I hadn't eaten anything all day. I drank coffee and I ate a cookie. And that's all I had. And then the night before on Christmas Eve, was up till 4 o'clock in the morning cooking. Okay. Then I went to bed and then I woke up on Christmas morning. It was around 9:30 or 10. And then of course we were up all day and all night on Christmas Day. So I was exhausted. I was stressed out. Um, I was dehydrated, and I was probably hungry and didn't know it. And then when I would think about eating, I'm gonna grab a cookie. And then also, what I put on my plate when I finally did eat, I put on my plate. So I was eating dressing with cranberries, um, mixed greens, collard greens. What else? Oh, and macaroni and cheese. I didn't put any turkey on my plate. I'm not really a meat eater, which is why I'm really, really considering at the beginning of the year going vegan. So, but I got to do my research. If you guys have any information that you could tell me about or recommend, let me know because, yeah. But so I didn't put any meat on my plate. So I'm eating so basically it's like I'm just eating carbs just a lot of carbs and a lot of sugar. So that may have had something to do with my insulin levels going off or something like that. So anyway, I would say you guys take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves. If something is causing you too much stress, you need to let it go. And that was some advice from a friend of mine who had a major stroke and had to learn how to speak, walk, talk, and everything. And that was his advice to me. Sorry, I was hearing something. I thought I heard something next door, not in my house, but next door to my house, and it felt like the floor just went like this. Like anyway, so what was I saying? So anyway, so I would say you guys make sure you drink your water. Drink water, and try to live your life stress as the least with the least amount of stress as possible. Okay. And the number one thing you need to have a friend. And there's no better friend like having a friend like Jesus. And he's more than a friend. He's our heaven, he's our he's our father, and he's our savior, and he's our king of kings and lord of lords. Okay? And all of this, and the Lord knew that what happened to me was going to happen. And he has a reason for everything he does, and it's like for a good reason. And and I'm seeing that the reason that happened is for me to be able to share a testimony about that, and share my faith and my trust in our Savior, who we just celebrated on Christmas. And it's not happy holidays, like I always say. It's about the birth of Christ. So Merry Christ More Day, because we need a lot more Jesus than we um, even understand. So that's it. That's all I have to say. I'm starting to act a little crazy and confused. That would be crazy if I went into like if I had like a stroke right here on camera. But when I go back and look at this video, I can feel myself kind of being a little bit off. Okay. And it's kind of hard to tell because I'm weird. I'm a weirdo anyway by nature. So I've always felt like I didn't belong, you know, or I was like the odd person in the room, the awkward kind of person. But some of the weirdest people are some of the most creative people and gifted. I'm just saying. But to God be the glory. All right. All right. Thank you so much. And pray for me, you guys. And I will definitely let you guys know what happens when after they after I turn in this thing tomorrow and go and get the ultrasound. Okay. And then when that all that's done and I get my results, then I'll let you guys know that too. Okay. All right. God bless you. Bye bye. Huh?